Hello, my name is Dominic Underhallhouse and welcome to another episode of Moonbreaker. In today's video I'm going to be looking at a list that was submitted onto the Discord. It was submitted with feedback requested, and what I've done is I've made a version of that list after the feedback that was given in Discord and to see just how it plays. So what we've done is we called it Feedback 1, and the list has ended up being pretty much a sort of a nice little mixture of different things. So the intention was to have the different units basically holding objectives down and using Extilior to contest in the meantime, using things to hold the backfield, and then eventually get ready for a counter-attack. So that's probably pretty reasonable with things like Furia, Aria and Deadeye. So Aria and Deadeye can attack from fairly safe positions, Furia can just sit there and power up, Maximus can do the same, and Stitchy can sort of keep us healthy, and then going on a big offensive turn, maybe using things like Peacemaker Balam, Chuck can chuck someone, switch back in there for a bit of extra damage, and we've got Zapper and Enki and Tipu just to sort of fill that out as well. So the list looks kind of interesting. I want to just dive into a ranked game and see how well we do. And honestly, I just thought this would be a fun idea to go through a series of the lists on Discord that people have asked for feedback on and just see how they play in a real game. And hopefully my insight will be useful to people. It may not be, maybe they already know what I'm about to say, but it's always fun to be able to play someone else's list and just give a different take on it. So if you enjoy it, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join on Patreon, all those wonderful things. But for now, I'll see you once we get in the game. Okay, we have found ourselves a game against Kuzmaniac21, a level 2 Extilior player. So we've got quite a difference in levels here. Hopefully this will be a game we can learn something from or find something useful from. And hopefully our opponent has fun as well. Again, anytime that I'm playing against a lower level account, I always hope that they enjoy the game just in case it ends up being a stomp. But I've had quite a few of them where it ends up being quite a surprise, and you get people who have got very tactical minds who are able to just outplay us fairly easily. So given that Fury is 4, and we could actually, you know what, actually no, on this mission we'd rather just get a nice safe objective early on and protect our crew and buff them up. I think this makes good use of our Cinder, which we don't necessarily do otherwise, and it allows us to contest this point if our opponent goes towards the middle, and we can start working our way up towards the top. So we want to be moving generally upwards. We want to try to, in this game, in this sort of position, we want to establish a spot and then work our way towards the other objective. So try and keep the points coming in here and work our way towards gaining more elsewhere. We can at least contest this very easily with Maximus, which is good for us. Deadeye can deal a little bit of damage. I mean, if they go forwards, Maximus is very likely to be able to do something useful here. The interesting part is if they attack us, we can actually attack back and then move to safety. Yeah, so they've got the hit. But if they don't put the shield on, which they should do, it'll be in a very similar spot. But we can maybe put a Maximus into here, contest the objective, and still move us to safety. So, in fact, are we close enough to actually get up onto the top one? If there was something we could shoot, I mean, there is just about. So can we force them onto multiple objectives is the question. So this is something so we've got a 50% chance onto that. So realistically we could just try and push the objective game in. So we'll release Ozos here. I also still think Shield of Hope there as well, and we will just go for safety. I'm going to try it. Let's just have fun. We'll pop Maximus up here, we'll move up. If we can get a shot on Extilior, we will do, but I don't know if we'll be able to. Yeah, not a good one. So if we come up here and go for 74, did I see? So we just poke this. There we go, we got one of those, and we can move up this way. We're now contesting 1 point and holding 2. It's not a great situation. Our opponent's absolutely got loads of things they can do from here to contest it, but we're forcing them in 2 different directions. We've got sort of, as you might call it in 40k, fire and fade. We can shoot and move back again, so Maximus is going to be relatively safe. And we can try and just sort of contest in the middle while scoring around the outside quite easily, so this could be nice. I'm not sure what our plan next turn is going to be. It's quite likely Furia or Aria, just to again compete on these fronts, although I'm probably going to save Aria for as long as I can do, because I really like being able to use her to take a point away when there's not really anything else going on. So if our opponent stays close enough for a spin, we'll go and do that, and we'll just try and compete in the middle and try and start picking up a couple of crew points. But if they don't take a point here and we gain 2, we only actually need to kill 2 crew to win the game. So they're going to be able to contest up here easy enough. They'll just be able to put something down here, but that's absolutely fine because we've got Maximus. We can just move, shoot, move again, and just run away to safety. And it's Tipu as well, so Tipu can't actually deal with this. So if we check Tipu's movement, we can just keep contesting that objective and actually just do damage elsewhere. So this kind of works out for us. We're okay with this. They haven't got really any damage dealt this turn. They're going to take at least 3 on here, and we're going to gain a point. So
you have a 2-point lead.
Let's just move Deadeye over here. We're not going to use Force Cinder for anything, so we'll just Ozos up here, take that shot, pop over here, get the spin in place. Honestly, Maximus is just going to take some shots onto Tipu and just hide. This should be enough to get us out of range. So if we just come and touch on up here, we should be out of range of Tipu. There we go, out of range of both very nicely. So we're contesting on points still. And we could just go ahead and kill here. So you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill with Stitchy. Actually, am I going to kill with Stitchy? No, we'd rather kill with something ranged. We'll save Arya. We're just going to do... Do you know what? Actually, no. Let's just do Tipu. Tipu can start growing. Because we're going to get 5 next turn anyway, so we can play any one of our other options. And this way we can start getting Tipu tougher and tougher. And they need to now contest both of these points and start looking to kill crew, because if they can't do both, we're going to be able to just outscore them on points. So we're nearly guaranteed a point here unless they use an ambush unit. If they use an ambush unit, they're not contesting up here, so they can take us off all 3 points. But if they do ambush here, we can just start dealing with that. Or if we need to, we can just start moving forward onto their Tipu. Sorry, with our Tipu onto their Extilior. So also the fact that we've got backup of Furia and Arya, we have got good damage to follow this up as well, and Arya can help contest points. If they just commit too much on Maximus, we'll just let him die, or probably just run him away and ignore the game. Yeah, the question is, do they hit? I probably wouldn't if I were them. Because if they hit, that's very good for us. Because we're going to hit them for 4. And, okay, we're absolutely okay with this. So at this point, it might even be worth us going for pushing some captain damage and just letting the points tick up as and when they can. And just playing, you know, Ring Around the Rosie with Tipu there. Whatever they deploy up here, we're just trying to stay safe. We're just trying to make Maximus neutral on points, help us gain points, we tick up points on here, and all we need to do is clear crew. So here's their Arya. So Arya is going to be able to deal with something. If I were them, I'm not sure what I'd do, but I don't know if this is the right series of choices, especially not out of line of sight. They do need to go for... Yeah. Okay, so this is good. I'm honestly tempted to just put something else in front of Arya and chuck her away. Like, with Chuck, literally. But we could just... Honestly, we could even just Stitchy and heal here, so... If we just... Shield of Hope here. We only need to get 1 point. Actually, come to think of it, we only need to get 1 point. Okay, so... Can we get anywhere up here where we can see a crew? No. So, we can get someone to 4. Can we deal 4 damage with anything we've got here? No, we can't. So... I think we just take these shots. If we can tow in here and still be on the point, I believe. Okay, we can't, so that's where Stitchy comes in. Stitchy pops here. Syringe ourselves up. I mean, we could just keep pushing damage in and then running away. So yeah, let's do that. So let's push on the enemy captain. And Ozos yourself. Ozos yourself and hide. Okay, so again, we're almost giving up here, but we're just pushing on captain damage as well, so they can't get onto our Tipu. Our Tipu can come and get back to them. They really need to just run away here. Their captain needs to live, and if they don't do something now, we're going to have 9 for Zappa and Enki next turn, and we can just throw 6 damage down whenever we need to. but also they need to contest on this point or they just lose the game if they don't kill a crew. So I'm really struggling to see how they're going to do this. They need to deploy something else that does 3 damage and kill Stitchy. That's realistically the only thing they can do here, is kill Stitchy. I don't think anything else. With 5 leadership, there's a few things that deal 3 damage. I don't think there's much in terms of AoE that's going to deal with both of these. I mean a Quetzali, I don't remember, I think Quetzali's at 5 or 6 now. I mean, that could get the couple of things up there and get Extilia away, but then they're just going to start losing on points. I think this is a tough situation for our opponent. I think they're going to struggle to come back in here no matter what. Especially... Okay, Beatrice is decent. I like Beatrice. So this isn't going to help clear anything out is the problem. So neither of these are going to die, so we're actually just going to score this and win next turn. So, unfortunately for our opponent, it's just a little bit short of what they needed to win the game. But all in all, I don't feel like this list played too badly. Like, there were situations where I felt like there were things I could have had a bit differently, but honestly that went quite well. I think some of that was a tactical advantage. Like, we did force our opponent to commit heavily up top, or we were just going to score 3 points, and when they did, we just had a really tricky unit that could just keep moving away. So, let's see where we ended up with. So, Tipu actually ended up being fine. I often find Tipu as a bit of a high risk, high reward sort of thing, but it ended up being fine there. Balam could have been good. All of these could have been nice in the late game. There are situations where Chuck would have been okay. I actually think this list worked really nicely. Like, I don't have too many bits of feedback. Like, Chuck is expensive is the thing, but I don't know what else I'd really go for instead. Like, I do like Hit and Run, but Hit and Run is just a personal preference. But if you guys have got any suggestions to how to improve this list, please pop it in the comments. And what we can do is, if you go over to Discord, there'll also be a thread where this is the, I think it's like the 5th most recent list review thread on there at the moment, and you can let them know, you know, what you want to have different in that list as well. So well played to our opponent, Kuzmaniac21, really good game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you have, please remember all those YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe. You can join us on Patreon. Anything to support the channel, hugely appreciated. But for now, thank you so much for watching, and most importantly, have a good day.